Well, hello, how are you? I am here today because I'm going to go over a little rag wreath, I guess, heart-shaped Valentine's or everyday. I'm doing mine in a neutral color so that I can hang it up anywhere I would like in my house, or use it in our master bedroom all year long, or just use it for Valentine's Day. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do this. And the supplies you need are a bunch of different ribbons. I really don't know how many I'm going to need yet, so I'm going to update this as I've worked through it. I'm going to show you the ribbons that I got that are in neutrals. Some of them I had, some of them I got at Hobby Lobby, some of them I may have to go raid my ribbon shelf for more, but I'm going to cut these into 7-inch strips, just do a lot of tying, and it's really going to be a simple project, but I think it'll have a cute outcome. And then I'm going to show you some options for things that you can do to embellish it even more if you would like. All right, here we go. So here is what I've got at the current moment. So you're going to need a pair of scissors. I'm going to get a good pair of fabric scissors. Like I said, some of these came right off my shelf. I might have to go get more, but I'm going to start cutting these into about 7-inch strips. And I'm just going to start out with maybe like 10 of each and just see how far that gets me to get started. Okay, so as you can see, I already tied one in the process. I wanted to make sure that 7 inches was going to be about right, and it's plenty. So I'm just going to randomly put these in no particular order. Beside, doesn't really matter. But I'm going to start by just tying. Hi. Hi. Did you come to say hi? I'm just going to tie a knot. If you need a little bit more to work with, then certainly you could cut them longer. I wouldn't cut them any shorter than that. But that's all I'm going to do. And then that will kind of give me an idea of how many more I might need to cut. I'm probably going to need to cut a lot more, but I just don't know until I get started. Now, the other thing you could do if you want is you could just fold it over like this, and you could thread the other two ends through and do it more like that. I don't know if you could see that with that sheer ribbon, but you're basically just folding the two ends together, opening up the loop, and feeding the two ends through that loop rather than tying a knot. It's really whatever look you prefer, whatever you're more comfortable with. It's going to give you about the same length, but if you have a ribbon that is maybe a little bit tougher, not quite as pliable, you may want to try that. I might do a little mix of both. I don't really want these two crocheted ones to be right next to each other, so I'm going to throw in a couple of these other patterns. So you're going to lose a little bit of the length by doing it in the knotted version as opposed to the other, but I don't know that it's a whole lot of length. And it depends on what kind of ribbon is. Like this crochet one is pretty thick, but I don't know that I'm actually gaining anything by doing it as the looped method, or feeding it through, from what I can tell so far. So let's throw a white one in here. Now I only did a single knot. You could do a double knot if you want, but I'm going to leave mine as single. So I'm just going to have this little bit of white. Let me throw another burlap one in. And I'm just randomly putting them in. So I'm going to work my way around this middle main wire, and then I'll come back and do around the other ones. So I'm just going to start and see how much it takes to do one wire, and then I'll stop and let you know. Okay, so with the 10 each, this is about how far I got. I got a little more than, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way around. So I'm going to cut a few more of each. And I'm still just working on this one inner wire. So I'm going to finish that, and then I'll start working on the outer wires. Okay, so I cut about 5 more of each, and that filled in. I didn't need all of them to fill in the rest. I'm going to throw this one more sheer organza one in. I like having the different textures, a couple of plaids, a couple of patterns, the burlap with the, like I said, the organza here, the lace, the more crocheted look. So all of that together gives it a nice dimension and look to it. But this is just going around the middle wire. So it kind of hides it all. These ones are a little bit longer because when I cut them the second time, I didn't measure, and I cut them just a little bit longer. So I'll have to go through and trim them all so that these are a little bit lower, but you can kind of see the wire. So I definitely want to go through and fill it in more. So I think what I'm going to do is, actually, I could probably stand to put one in here. Maybe one of these little pattern ones, polka dotty kind of things. So kind of look for some holes, and I'm not going to trim everything down until later, but depending on the way that the ribbon lays is going to determine, you know, whether you see any of the wire in the back, but I can definitely see some of it. So I think I might fill in a little bit first on the inside wire here, just from this little divider in. And then I might do the same thing down here at the point and see where I stand at that. But basically, you're going to work your way around any portion of the outside that you feel needs filled in. You could do the whole thing, the outside, the inside. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and see what I think after I add some more at the bottom and the inner top and the outer bottom. Now, if you were to keep these pieces a little bit longer, it's going to take more ribbon, but it's going to take more ribbon like per piece, but it may end up meaning that you don't have to do all 3 of the rings, of the wire rings. And when it's all said and done, I will come back in here and kind of take the ones that have the wire and form them a little bit more so that you can see the good sides. And if you wanted to, you could come in and you could do, you know, cut a V on the end of each one. I don't know that I'm going to do that, or an angle on each one. I don't know that I need to do that. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. See what happens if I cut it. I'm not sure how much you'll actually see the V shape if you do that. But again, I'm just playing it by ear. So I'm going to fill in the inner center up here and the bottom part down here. And then I might put a couple more in here on the side before I see if I need to do the outer ring. Okay, now that I have done that little bit of filling in and that little bit of filling in, I definitely feel like I want to go around the outside and see how I feel about it after that. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'm probably going to end up coming around the inside so that it will be pretty thick and all 3 wires covered. I feel like that's just, I'm not going to be happy unless I do that. Where I stopped, I stopped myself last night because my hands were starting to hurt. I was thinking, I'm going to take this muslin fabric that I just happen to have some excess of. I'm going to trim off this rough edge, not that it wouldn't blend right in, but I'm just going to cut some slits about 1 inch apart. And I'm going to rip these pieces. And that will give me a little bit more filler ribbon. For some reason, my phone did not charge last night. Let me plug my phone in real quick. Just because I'm not sure if I'll have enough ribbon. This will just give me a little bit more. They're a little bit longer than I need them to be, but that's okay. I can go this way. I think that might have been what I was doing. You could cut them if you want instead. It's just going to be a little bit less time consuming. Not to, but you're going to have, you know, these stringy edges. But it's coming together pretty nicely. It's hard to tell in this video until I actually can get some pictures of it hung up. But if I turn it over, you can kind of see where I've started covering the outside edge is really over here. But all of this has not been covered. So I'm just going to kind of keep fooling with it, figure out where I feel like it looks the best, make sure I don't see any green wire. But it's really a personal preference, you know, to where you finish it off. So I'm just going to finish it up and then see where I decide to stop.